Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Combermary people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Wednesday, November 29. In Squiz Kids Today, rat plague in Queensland, England's new baby rhino, Barbiecore makes the dictionary, and Christmas decorations Willy Wonka style. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
A rat plague has taken over a small town in the far north of Australia as residents of Currumbin fight off waves of long-haired rodents every night and wake each morning to find thousands washed up dead on their beach. It sounds like something from a horror movie, doesn't it? But it's playing out in real life in the Queensland township on the Gulf of Carpentaria. If you look at a map of Australia, the Gulf of Carpentaria is that big chunk taken out of the country between Queensland and the Northern Territory. The rats are native animals, meaning they're not an introduced or an invasive species. But there's been so much rain in Queensland's outback over the past few months that they've had plenty of grass to feed on, and that's seen them breed in record numbers. Get this. An adult long-haired rat can produce up to 12 babies every 3 weeks. Yikes. And because the little critters can swim, they've been taking to rivers in search of food and even swimming out to sea, with some fishing boats reporting rats scrambling up their anchor lines when they are moored offshore. The rats can be really destructive too, as they like to chew through electrical wires, causing lots of damage to lots of property. Have you ever read the kids' fairy tale, The Pied Piper of Hamelin? Yeah, maybe we need a Pied Piper of Currumbin. I've stuck a link to photos and video of the plague in today's episode notes, if you dare.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in the White House, which is the American president's home in Washington, D.C., where the Christmas decorations have been unveiled and they are magical. Riffing off Willy Wonka, there are massive candy canes and Christmas lollies, a huge gingerbread house in the shape of the White House, and scenes from the famous Christmas poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," which is this year celebrating its 200th anniversary. The White House decorations include, get this, 98 Christmas trees, over 142,000 twinkling lights, and some 34,000 ornaments. Gosh, that makes my little tree and the string of fairy lights on the front porch seem altogether inadequate. I've stuck a link to video of the White House decorations in today's episode notes because, with just over a week to go before we break for the Christmas holidays here at Squiz Kids, it's well and truly time that we all got stuck into the festive spirit.
Animal Kingdom.
And it's off to England we go, where a rare baby black rhino has just been born in a zoo, and there are celebrations all round. The little female, who doesn't yet have a name, was born to mum Zuri last Sunday, making her entrance into the world in broad daylight in front of a bunch of super excited zookeepers. So, why were they so excited? Because they'd been waiting 15 months for her to arrive, which is how long a black rhino gestates, which is a fancy word for being in its mum's tummy. And also because black rhinos are an endangered species. There are only about 600 of them left in the wild, and each one that is born, either out in the wild or in a zoo, is one step further away from them becoming extinct. And that is undeniably a good thing. Not least because baby rhinos might just be the cutest critter on the planet. Don't believe me? Check out the link to photos of her in today's episode notes.
Pop Culture Corner.
How are your cosy lives holding up? Because that's a question you might hear more often after the Macquarie Dictionary yesterday announced cosy lives as the word of the year. So what's cosy lives? It's got nothing to do with swimmers, sadly, but rather refers to cost of living, which has become one of the main topics of conversation in the news these days. Other words to have made the shortlist this year were goblin mode, which is when you can't be bothered doing anything in your hideout, a bachelor's handbag, which refers to a takeaway roast chicken, and Barbiecore, which is when you dress up all in pink, especially hot pink, which I never do because have you seen my complexion? Christmas is a time for giving, right? I mean, I know, we all like to be on the receiving end of something from Santa's sack, but the true spirit of the festive season is about giving. And that's why this Christmas, Squiz Kids has partnered with Connected AU to help bring a bit of Christmas joy to an aged care home near you. The Squiz Kids Christmas Card Appeal is asking every Squiz Kid to write a Christmas card to a resident of an aged care home. Just a little message of festive cheer to brighten their day. All you have to do is post your Christmas card to Connected AU's office in Dubbo by December 5. The address is in today's episode notes and on our social media, and they'll make sure it gets passed on to a resident of an aged care home. A simple act of kindness this Christmas that will go a long, long way. Once upon a time, in a classroom far, far away, there was no internet, no iPads, and a very unpleasant sound known as chalk on blackboards. To those parents and teachers listening, you might even remember it. And for the final episode of How Far We've Come, our mates at the Big Squiz are diving deep into the big tech moments that have changed our classrooms, from interactive whiteboards to RUD tops to AI. A shout out to NGS Super, who worked with them to make the How Far We've Come series possible. And if the adults listening haven't had a chance to listen to the whole series yet, you can find all of the episodes from this season in its own channel. Just search How Far We've Come whenever you're listening to your podcasts.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What is the capital city of the United States, where the White House is located? Yes, of course, it's Washington, D.C. Question number 2. Name the enormous gulf that straddles Queensland and the Northern Territory. Yeah, well done if you said the Gulf of Carpentaria. Question number 3. What sort of rhino was born this week in a zoo in England? That's right, it was a rare black rhino.
Shout-outs.
It's November 29, birthday of authors Louisa May Alcott, who wrote Little Women, and C.S. Lewis, who wrote The Wizard of Oz. Because, yes, both were books long before they were movies. Plus, it's only 26 days until Christmas, which means you've still got plenty of time to buy your teacher an end-of-year gift from the Squiz Kids merch store. Check it all out on our website, squizkids.com.au. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Gemma from Cannon Hill, George from Flagstaff Hill, Holly from Oyster Bay, Jackson from Junee, Tia from Point Cook, Kayla from Newrybar, Arissa from Brisbane, Phoenix from Tempe, Sadie from Coburg, Alyssa from Lindfield, Harry from Meridian Plains, Gianluca from Taylor's Lakes, Caleb from Richmond, May from Adelaide, and Henley from Gulgong. And a belated birthday shout-out today goes to Thomas from Aranda. And classroom shout-outs today go to Class S2L and Miss Callan at Saints Peter and Paul Catholic Primary School in Kiama. Grade 4 with Mrs. Garriger at Doreen Primary School. To all of the students at Westside Christian College in Goodna. Class 5 Blue with Miss Graham at Queanbeyan Public School. Class 6A with Mr. Jonker at Tyab Primary School. Class 4-5L with Mr. Labone at Broken Hill North Public School. Class 5-6F with Mr. Finch at Galston Public School. Class PD1, Mr. Robbins at Northern Bay College in Norlane. And finally to Year 3-4 with Miss Barbiecore at Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic School in Ingham in Queensland. And a quick note re-shout-outs. If your birthday falls during the Squiz Kids Christmas break, that is between Monday, December 10 and Monday, January 29, we'll be giving you a shout-out at the end of the week in which your birthday falls as part of our bumper school holiday quizzes, which will come out every Friday of the school holes. Because we don't want anyone to miss out on their birthday shout-outs. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.